Lu Chang's group's footsteps immediately stilled when they heard Kai Lin's icy-cold voice. A moment later, Lu Chang and Wu Zhen suddenly turned their heads. They furiously demanded, "Why? Does the Yin Alliance intend to kill all of us in front of so many people?" Xiao Yin placed his hands behind his back. His eyes indifferently studied Lu Chang's group. Many of them were displaying their panic. A faint voice resounded beside everyone's ears. The Yin Alliance has its own rules. This is not some loose organization. It is all right if someone wishes to withdraw from the Yin Alliance. However, if one wishes to withdraw as an excuse to escape punishment after committing a crime, would one not be treating the Yin Alliance like child's play? During these years, the two of you have been overly arrogant, causing trouble for my pill hall and resulting in the disunity of the Yin Alliance. This is a great crime. If it can be resolved by just quitting, would it not mean that anyone who broke the rules of my Yin Alliance could just leave peacefully by quitting the Yin Alliance? In that case, is it even necessary for my Yin Alliance to exist? Xiao Yan's expression was ice-cold. The murderous desire in his heart became even denser. These two were like termites. If they were allowed to safely leave, all of Yin Alliance's rules would become a joke. Once this precedent was set, how would he be able to control the masses? Those alchemists from the pill hall lowered their heads when they heard Xiao Yan's cold and stern cry. They had indeed become arrogant during these years because of their unique status within the Yin Alliance. Perspiration rained down from them while Xiao Yan reprimanded them in a cold fashion. Lu Chang and Wu Zhen's faces twitched. Their hearts panicked a little when they sensed the icy-cold looks that the surrounding members of the Yin Alliance were giving them. The development of this situation had exceeded their expectations. Originally, with their Tier 7 high-grade alchemist status, they would be treated like VIPs no matter where they went. It was unexpected that Xiao Yin would actually be this rude. "What do you plan on doing?" Lu Chang grit his teeth and asked. "It is not what I plan to do. I will perform as the Alliance rules state," Xiao Yin faintly replied. The expressions of Lu Chang and Wu Zhen drastically changed when they heard this. According to the rules of the Yin Alliance, their offenses would require them to die a couple of times to make up for their crimes. "Capture them." Kai Lin's face was cold as she gave an order. "Understood." The surrounding experts of the Yin Alliance, who were awaiting orders, immediately rushed toward Lu Chang's group upon hearing Kai Lin's cry. "Bastard, do you think that the two of us are afraid of you?" Lu Chang and Wu Zhen really began to panic when they saw the experts move. A furious cry sounded as Do Qi surged from their bodies. They forcefully pushed aside the few Yin Alliance experts who had arrived beside them. Their bodies moved, and they turned into light figures that tried to flee into the distance. Trying to flee? Xiao Yin lifted his eyebrows. His mouth revealed a cold smile as his palm grabbed toward the two. The surrounding space instantly stilled and the two figures were trapped within. Xiao Yin randomly threw these two captured individuals back, and they violently smashed into the ground. Grug. A powerful strength caused the duo to spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. Their expressions were ghastly. Before they could cry out, numerous long spears with cold glints paused near their heads. "Alliance Chief, sir, please let the both of us off. We will definitely do our best for the Yin Alliance in the future." The Do Qi within their bodies had forcefully been scattered by Xiao Yan's palm earlier. Only at this moment did Lu Chang and Wu Zhen become terrified. They hurriedly cried out together. "The rules of the Yin Alliance will not be changed because of anyone or any events." Xiao Yin glanced indifferently at these two individuals. He waved his sleeve, and a group of Yin Alliance experts captured the two of them like wolves and tigers. They were dragged into the deepest part of the pill hall. Those traitors who had planned to follow the two of them were all captured and dragged away. In an instant, desolate screeches reverberated over the square. Those miserable cries gradually became distant, and the square became quiet. Those alchemists present were covered in a cold sweat. None of them dared to utter a word. Gu He. Gui's heart trembled when he heard Xiao Yan's sudden voice. He immediately and respectfully responded. Being the chief of the Pill Hall, you have a responsibility that you cannot shirk for allowing the Pill Hall to turn into this state. From today on, you will be demoted from the Hall Chief to a Deputy Hall Chief. Grandmaster Fa Ma will be promoted from the position of Elder to the new Pill Hall's Chief. Gu He and Fa Ma quickly acknowledged the changes when they heard Xiao Yan's faint voice. The current Xiao Yan was no longer the Xiao Yan from back then. The current Xiao Yan possessed an absolute strength to deal with anyone. Since there are punishments, there will naturally be rewards. The Yin Alliance has developed greatly during these years. This is an ancient method to train one's soul. It will be able to help an alchemist break through to the 8th tier. All the alchemists of the Pill Hall who have reached the 7th tier will be able to obtain it after making a certain amount of contributions. Those of a lower tier will be able to obtain a portion of it to train their spirits after making a certain amount of contributions to the Yin Alliance. It will enable all of you to increase the rate at which your alchemist tier improves. I hope that everyone will practice hard. Xiao Yan flicked his finger after his words sounded. A scroll flew toward the stunned Fa Ma and Gu He. This, an ancient method to train one's soul? There were many alchemists present. Moreover, there were some alchemists who did not belong to the Yin Alliance. However, all of their faces revealed a disbelief when they heard Xiao Yan's words. They were clearly aware of just how important one's spiritual strength was to an alchemist, but none of them had ever heard that it was possible to train one's spirit. At the same time, they were aware that Xiao Yan would not make a false claim in public given his status, so all of their eyes became fiery hot. It is unexpected that there is such a benefit for joining the Pill Hall. It seems that I must find an opportunity to join it. Those alchemists present stared at Gu He and Fa Ma with envious eyes as this thought appeared in their hearts. The Yin Alliance might have extremely strict rules, but they could be endured if they were able to strengthen themselves. Moreover, Lu Cheng's group from earlier had completely brought it on themselves. With those crimes, any other factions or sects would have long since executed them. They would not even be given the time to argue. Fa Ma and Gu He's trembling hands held the scroll in front of many fiery hot eyes. They had heard that it was indeed possible to train one's spirit, but that method had long been lost. It was unexpected that Xiao Yan actually possessed such a method. Moreover, he was willing to give it to the both of them. The hearts of those two were incredibly excited, but they did not know that this was only a portion of the method, yet this portion benefited their current states. If they performed extensive contributions in the future, Xiao Yan would naturally give the rest of the method to them. Kai Lin quietly sighed in relief when she saw the square suddenly become unusually excited. She was worried that harshly punishing Lu Cheng's group would result in people being afraid of the Yin Alliance. It was unexpected that Xiao Yan understood the theory of the carrot and the stick. By acting ruthless and subsequently relaxing, he had managed to subdue all of these prideful fellows. Even someone like Gu He was displaying a face that showed his heartfelt gratitude. This person has matured even more compared to back then. Kai Lin turned her head, glanced at the side of Xiao Yan's face, and softly muttered in her heart. Kai Lin clearly understood in her heart that the Pill Hall would definitely change for the better after this incident today. With this deterrence, such incidents would probably not happen again in the future. Without the Pill Hall as an evolving cancer, the Yin Alliance would continue to develop and would truly dominate the northwestern region of the continent. Xiao Yan rested for 2 days in the mysterious Yellow Fortress after resolving the issues regarding the Pill Hall. He was a little tired after refining a Tier 8 medicinal pill. Is this first start pill really suitable for Xiao Xiao? Within a room where a hidden fragrance lingered, Kai Lin watched Xiao Yan take out the Tier 8 medicinal pill he had refined a couple of days earlier. She asked him a question in a worried manner. The medicinal strength of a Tier 8 medicinal pill was quite high. Xiao Zhao's constitution might already be very strong, but Kai Lin was still a little worried. Relax, the first start pill might be considered a Tier 8 medicinal pill, but its medicinal effects are extremely gentle. It is most suitable for the current Xiao Xiao. The medicinal strength within it will continue to remain inside Xiao Zhao's body and will improve her constitution as she grows, causing her to become perfect. Xiao Yin smiled and replied, "One might not become perfect after consuming the first start pill by itself, but Xiao Xiao already possessed an extremely good foundation, so all he would be doing was stabilizing this foundation." Kai Lin could only nod her head when she heard Xiao Yan's response. She simply watched as Xiao Yan gently placed the medicinal pill into the little mouth of the curious Xiao Xiao, whose dark black eyes were wandering around the room. The medicinal pill turned into a cluster of gentle light that seeped into Xiao Zhao's body after she consumed it, after which it slowly stopped in her lower abdomen. Light was slowly emitted as Xiao Xiao sneezed. Both of her eyes were shut since she had become somewhat tired. This is the initial scattering of the medicinal strength. All we need to do is wait for her to wake. Xiao Yin smiled as he explained. Kai Lin gently nodded after hearing this explanation. She bowed her delicate body and gently rubbed her hand over Xiao Zhao's body. Her bewitching face revealed a charm that was filled with a motherly love. Xiao Yin was a little absent-minded as he watched her. He softly said, "Big Brother has asked us to hold a simple Xiao clan wedding to marry you into the Xiao clan. What do you say?" Kai Lin's body trembled when she heard Xiao Yan's words. Xiao Yan slowly walked forward when he saw Kai Lin's somewhat stiff yet lovely body. Her normally cold expression was being replaced by an extremely rare bright red color. At a glance, she appeared even more bewitching. Xiao Yan's heart became slightly heated when he saw her enchanting reaction. His arm hugged that narrow and seemingly boneless waist. A slight smile appeared as he gently kissed Kai Lin with her slightly emotional eyes. Lust quietly filled the warm room. After resolving the war with the profound lion sect and the trouble within the pill hall, Xiao Yin relaxed during the period of time that followed. The Yin alliance might be huge, but it had done well under the management of Kai Lin, Xiao Ding, and the others. They would naturally arrange everything after the big battle. There was no need for Xiao Yin to intervene. Thus, Xiao Yin was happy to have some time for leisure. He left little Xiao Xiao alone and properly enjoyed the feeling of being a father. During this period of time, Xiao Yin also used some of his free time to open the wormhole scroll that Yao Lao had given him. The mysterious Yellow Fortress was not far from the Jiamai Empire, and this place was an extremely important location. Hence, the wormhole that led to the Falling Star Pavilion was connected to the mysterious Yellow Fortress. Regardless of which side faced trouble in the future, one party would be able to reinforce the other with great speed. The establishment of the wormhole would undoubtedly allow the Yin Alliance's hidden strength to soar. With the Falling Star Pavilion supporting it, a second faction would not be able to compete with the Yin Alliance in this northwestern region. Dominating the northwestern part of the continent was only a matter of time. During this period of time, Xiao Yin also obtained some of the information regarding the development of the Yin Alliance. The thing that caused Xiao Yin to be surprised was that Zhao's Gate, the faction his second brother, Xiao Li, had established in the Black Corner region, had also joined the Yin Alliance a couple of years ago. It was also a location that the Yin Alliance could expand to in the future. With the support of the Yin Alliance and Pan's Gate, which Xiao Yin had founded in the Inner Academy, the development of Zhao's Gate was also quite impressive. It had vaguely become a great existence within the Black Corner region. Once the time was ripe in the future, the many factions that were owned by Xiao Yin, like the Yin Alliance, Zhao's Gate, and the Falling Star Pavilion, would completely merge. It would become a powerful faction that spread over 3 large regions of the Douqi continent. Its potential was indeed limitless. The 3 Xiao brothers had gathered within a quiet courtyard deep within the Yin Alliance. Kailin was playing with Xiao Xiao a short distance away. The crisp laughter of the little girl unceasingly appeared within the courtyard, filling it with liveliness. It had been many years since Xiao Yin had enjoyed such a peaceful time. Xiao Yin involuntarily smiled when he saw the enchanting expression that surfaced on Kai Lin's cold face while she played with Xiao Xiao. As long as she was in front of Xiao Xiao, the deputy chief of the Yin Alliance, who appeared icy cold in the eyes of others, seemed to undergo a transformation into a great beauty filled with a mother's love. Her warmth caused the heart of anyone looking at her to quiver. During this period of time, Xiao Yin and Kailin had also held a simple Xiao clan wedding conducted by Xiao Li and Xiao Ding. This wedding was not grand since only Xiao Ding and Xiao Li attended it. No great fanfare was held either, but it was said that an elder brother was like one's father. It could be considered a serious ceremony with Xiao Ding and Xiao Li present. Regardless of what the case was, the things that Kailin had done for the Xiao clan and the Yin Alliance were enough to make Xiao Yin feel guilty. He needed to give her this status. Xiao Ding and Xiao Li heard of Xiao Yan's the various experiences over these years as they sat within the courtyard. They were involuntarily shaken by the many narrow misses. Their lives during these years had not been relaxing because of the Yin Alliance, but Xiao Yin had frequently charged through danger, and things had been quite difficult for him during these years. The both of them softly sighed when they thought about this. They studied the side of the mature and firm face of the young man in front of them. The burdens of the entire Xiao clan weighed down on him. Anyone else would already have collapsed from the pressure, but Xiao Yin had done his best to become stronger for the Xiao clan and to rescue their father. Third brother, it has been tough on you these years. Xiao Yin was startled when he heard his big brother Xiao Ding's abrupt words. He softly replied, "What is this little hardship if it will allow our family to reunite? Big brother and second brother are even willing to sacrifice their lives for me. I would be too inhumane if I did not work hard to improve." The three brothers exchanged glances after hearing Xiao Yan's words. They smiled with a common understanding. There was no need to say anything else to someone with a blood relation, which was closer than anything. Kailin, some distance away, revealed a faint grin on her face when she saw the three smiling brothers. This feeling of having a family caused her heart to feel extremely comfortable. The effort she had put in these years was worthwhile. It is unexpected that our Xiao clan possesses such a history. Surprise surfaced on Xiao Ding and Xiao Li's faces when they heard Xiao Yin describe the matters related to the Xiao clan in detail within the courtyard. They had not expected their Xiao clan, who only had a small reputation in Wutan City, to actually be from that Xiao clan. The Xiao clan from the 8 ancient clans renowned throughout the Doqi continent. However, our Xiao clan's bloodline strength has been exhausted. The final amount of it has been passed to me by ancestor Xiao Xin. Xiao Yin softly sighed. His body shrank in the spacious chair as he said, "The reason that the Xiao clan has attracted the probing of a large faction like the Hall of Souls is precisely because this Xiao family was once that Xiao clan. However, you said that the bloodline strength of the Xiao clan has been exhausted. Why would the Hall of Souls attack us? Based on the information that I have obtained, it seems that the Hall of Souls plans to capture everyone with the blood of our Xiao clan." Xiao Ding knit his brows and voiced his thoughts. Xiao Yan's finger gently tapped on the armrest of the chair. There was some doubt between his brows. Just what were those people from the Hall of Souls planning to do? The bodies of the current members of the Xiao clan no longer possessed even the least bit of bloodline strength. What was the point of capturing them? Could it be that they were planning to use these people as hostage to get him to hand over the Tushi ancient god jade? However, just his father as hostage was enough. Capturing the others was unnecessary. I wonder what those people from the Hall of Souls are up to. Xiao Yin shook his head, but his heart became a little more cautious. The Hall of Souls usually did not do anything that was meaningless. Since they were interested in the Xiao clan, they definitely had a motive. Relax, The current Shao clan is gradually developing. Its members have been scattered by us in the Yin Alliance. It is impossible for the Hall of Souls to capture all of them. Once our faction becomes strong in the future, we will gather all the scattered clan members again. Xiao Ding faintly smiled and explained when he saw Xiaoyan frowning. Xiaoyan gently nodded. Big Brother really had a way of doing things. After having experienced those matters from back then, he would naturally not let them easily occur again. Second Brother, this is a secret technique scroll. You can practice it as it instructs. You can also pass it to some outstanding clan members. Xiaoyan mused for a moment before taking out the Skyfire 3 mysterious change and handing it to Xiaoli. The Skyfire 3 mysterious change had been created by ancestor Xiao Xian. It used a special method to allow the clan members to practice and create a clan tattoo. Although his clan members no longer possessed any bloodline strength and were unable to unleash the full strength of the clan tattoo, it was still able to significantly increase one's strength. The flames that were required to practice the Skyfire 3 mysterious change did not necessarily need to be heavenly flames. They only needed to find some beast flames that were a little inferior. Xiaoli accepted the scroll that Xiaoyan handed him. He was aware that Xiaoyan did not possess any subpar things. Since Xiaoyan had said that it was useful, Xiaoli would naturally not doubt him. The situation of the Yin Alliance has been settled. I will not intervene in the remaining matters. Therefore, I will be hurrying back to the Central Plains in 2 days. Xiaoyan voiced his thoughts after seeing Xiaoli accept the scroll. So soon? Xiao Ding and Xiaoli spoke somewhat unwillingly when they heard his words. Ha! The wormhole between the Yin Alliance and the Falling Star Pavilion has been built. One will not need to take too much time to travel between those two places. The both of you can head over and take a look if you have the time. I will inform the Falling Star Pavilion. Xiaoyan smiled as he spoke to them. After counting the days, the so-called spatial trade fair was about to begin. He needed to hurry back as soon as possible. The purifying demonic lotus flame was far too important to him. If he were able to obtain it, he might be able to break through the Dozun class. Only when one truly reached the Doshan class would one have the qualification to fight with a faction like the Hall of Souls. Otherwise, Xiaoyan would not dare to head over and rescue his father. You are leaving the day after tomorrow? Kailin had also heard these words. She pulled Xiao over and asked, This time around, you should also return with me to the Falling Star Pavilion to meet teacher. Xiaoyan softly laughed. He regarded Yao Lao like a father. Now that Kailin was his wife, she would naturally have to meet him. That old mister from back then? Kailin rolled her eyes as she inquired. If she had not been afraid of Xiaoyan's teacher, she, as the queen of the Snake People tribe, would have killed Xiaoyan many times over. Xiaoyan nodded. He squatted down, patted Xiao Zhao's head, and softly said, Additionally, we will bring Xiao to the Falling Star Pavilion. It is the safest place I know of. Moreover, teacher can instruct her. The current her can already begin training. An unwillingness flashed across Kailin's eyes when she heard Xiaoyan's words, but she still nodded in agreement. She was aware that Xiaoyan was doing this for Xiao Zhao's sake. Xiaoyan slightly smiled after issuing his instructions. He lifted his head and looked in the direction of the wormhole. Purifying demonic lotus flame. It had been over a decade. I am finally getting closer to you. The wormhole that was connected to the Falling Star Pavilion was located in the deepest part of the Yin Alliance, protected by an extremely tight defense. Xiaoyan did not make this wormhole known to the public. Although the fees collected from those using the wormhole would be quite a fat sum, Xiaoyan felt that it was better to keep a low profile when it came to such things. Otherwise, it might stir some unnecessary trouble, since there was only one wormhole that led to the Central Plains from deep within the northwestern part of the continent. It would cause many to feel jealous if word were to spread. A dark black wormhole was suspended in the air within an incomparably large hall. It was slowly rotating while waves of shocking spatial fluctuations were emitted from the wormhole. Is this a wormhole? The eyes of Kai Lin's group were a little stunned and curious as they observed this wormhole. This was their first time seeing a wormhole. Such a thing was rarely seen in a place like the northwestern region of the continent. Xiaoyan smiled and nodded. Standing beside him was the little fairy doctor, Tianhua Zunjia, and Qing Lin. Those experts who had been invited had already returned to the Central Plains soon after resolving the trouble from the profound lion sect. Big brother, second brother, we will be leaving. If anything happens in the future, you can send someone to the Falling Star Pavilion. There will be someone there to receive you. Xiaoyan turned his head, looked at Xiao Ding and Xiao Li before he spoke with a smile. The Xiao duo nodded when they heard this information. Understood. Take care. Xiaoyan smiled, but he did not say anything unnecessary. He cupped his hands to everyone present and then took the lead to step into the wormhole. He immediately disappeared. Kai Lin, who was carrying Xiao Xiao, swiftly followed behind him, as did the little fairy doctor's group. Xiao Ding and Xiao Li softly sighed with a sense of loss as they watched Xiao Yan's group disappear within the wormhole. They remained a little longer before leading their people away. The inner hall of the Falling Star Pavilion. This is your daughter? Yao Lao was studying the white-clothed little girl. She was hugging Xiao Yan's thigh and using her large dark black eyes to stare at him. His elderly face was covered with a stunned expression. Xiao Yan involuntarily smiled and nodded when he saw the way Yao Lao acted. He was aware that Yao Lao had been captured by the Hall of Souls when Kai Lin was suspected of being pregnant. Therefore, he was unaware of this situation. So Xiao Yan briefly explained what had occurred back then. How unexpected, how really unexpected. Even with Yao Lao's usual unperturbed temperament, he still involuntarily shook his head after hearing Xiao Yan's story. His eyes swept over Kai Lin as he teased. Back then, this wife of yours really hated you. If not for the old me, I'm afraid that you would have been killed by her. Kai Lin's cold face turned a little red when she heard Yao Lao's words. Back then, she had quietly exchanged blows with Yao Lao many times. However, she had not expected the old man from back then, who had appeared only a little stronger than her, to actually be so strong. Xiao Xiao, quickly greet Grand Teacher. Kai Lin gently patted Xiao Zhao's little head and softly told her what to do. Hearing this, Xiao Xiao blinked her large black eyes. She glanced at Xiao Yan somewhat hesitantly. Only after seeing him smile and nod her head, she timidly called out, Grand Teacher. Ah! A joyous smile emitted from Yao Lao's heart surfaced on his face after he heard Xiao Zhao's soft voice. He did not have any children but regarded Xia Yan as his own son. From his perspective, Xiao Yan's daughter was just like his very own granddaughter. Regardless of how strong an old man at his age was, their hearts would ultimately feel a gentleness for little children. Yao Lao walked forward. The corner of his eyes contained a smile as he touched Xiao Xiao with a face full of love. After which, his shriveled hand squeezed Xiao Zhao's little hand. A joy surfaced in his eyes a moment later as he said, What a powerful spiritual strength! She is also of the fire affinity, and her body similarly possesses a trace of wood. It not out of the realm of possibility for her to be an alchemist. Xiao Yan smiled when he heard Yao Lao's exclamation. He had already sensed that Xiao Xiao could be an alchemist with her constitution. Her current abilities were much better than his back then. If she was properly groomed, her future potential would be extraordinary. Her spiritual strength is even stronger than when I discovered you back then. Moreover, her constitution is many times greater than yours. If she is properly groomed, her future achievements will be even greater than yours, her father's. Yao Lao had an excited glint in his eyes. This kind of glint was something that Xiao Yan had seen when he had met Yao Lao for the first time. Xiao Yan smiled when he heard Yao Lao's evaluation. Talent and constitution might be important, but one's future achievements were determined by one's perseverance. The reason that Xiao Yin was able to reach this stage today was not because he had relied on his talent. Instead, he had achieved breakthroughs from lingering between life and death during one bloody battle after another. A true expert did not rely on talent, but on great perseverance. Yao Lao's hand continued to pinch Xiao Zhao's bones. His hands used a little more force, causing Xiao Zhao's little mouth to pout. She continued grumble, causing everyone to laugh. Why doesn't the old me teach the little Xiao Xiao in the future? Yao Lao finally lifted his head after pinching her for a long while. His eyes looked at Xiao Yin as he asked without any hesitation. Even he wasn't able to restrain himself when faced with Xiao Xiao, who was like perfect raw jade. Xiao Yin smiled and nodded when he Yao Lao's suggestion. He had brought Xiao Xiao back to the Falling Star Pavilion to be trained by him. No one among those he was acquainted with could surpass Yao Lao's medicinal refinement skills. It was naturally best for him to personally groom Xiao Xiao. Xiao Yin also understood in his heart that Xiao Zhao's talent might be extremely attractive, but her talent wouldn't be enough to cause an expert like Yao Lao to feel anxious. Yao Lao truly regarded Xiao Xiao as his granddaughter and wished she would grow up perfect. This caused Xiao Yin to feel a little moved in his heart. This child has been traveling with you through the wormhole for a couple of days. Let her properly rest first. Yao Lao lovingly patted Xiao Zhao's head and handed her back to Kai Lin with some unwillingness. Subsequently, he instructed someone to help Kai Lin and her daughter settle down. In that case, the both of you should continue chatting. Kai Lin was someone who was mindful of others. She was aware that this teacher and disciple needed to speak about something. Hence, she softly spoke to Xiao Yin before leaving slowly with Xiao Xiao. Yao Lao withdrew his eyes only after seeing Kai Lin take Xiao Xiao away. He smiled and said, "Little fellow, you have helped give birth to a good daughter, however. You being together with Medusa has exceeded my expectation." Xiao Yin spread his hands. The relationship between him and Kai Lin was quite complicated. Who would have imagined that Queen Medusa, who had been chasing Xiao Yin with a murderous intent for many years, would actually become his wife? I have also heard about the matter this time around. Being able to dispatch 2 Tianzins is sufficient to show that the Hall of Souls is not fooling around. However, they suffered a great loss this time. The 9th Tianzuan was killed on the spot by you, and that 4th Tianzuan was beaten half to death before fleeing. Yao Lao fondled his beard and laughed. Honestly speaking, I do not know what the Hall of Souls is planning to do. This clan has always been mysterious and unfathomable. They definitely carrying out a scheme from the way they are gathering souls. Moreover, from the recent increase of soul gathering, this scheme is likely progressing very quickly. Based on the information that I have obtained, it seems that some big wars have erupted in other parts of the continent outside the Central Plains. The Hall of Souls is likely involved in these wars, Yao Lao mused. Oh? Wars has erupted across other parts of the continent? Xiao Yan's expression changed upon hearing this. He felt a little uneasy. Just what were these fellows from the Hall of Souls planning? Yao Lao's nodded with a solemn expression. He softly sighed a moment later and changed the topic of conversation. There is still half a month left before the spatial trade fair begins. We should also properly prepare during this period of time. Those who are able to participate in the spatial trade fair are all top experts and powerful factions. The purifying demonic lotus flame is too attractive. Since we have been able to obtain news about it, other factions will also be aware of it. Hence, we will definitely have to pay a great price in order to compete for the final map fragment. Xiao Yin nodded. The purifying demonic lotus flame was ranked 3rd on the heavenly flame ranking. This rank alone indicated its great strength. Its allure was naturally something that need not be mentioned. Even though it was just a map fragment, its value would be quite frightening. It would not be easy to successfully obtain it from the many competitors. Regardless of what happens, we need to obtain the purifying demonic lotus flame. There are 4 map fragments. 3 of them are in your hands. We must obtain the last piece no matter what. Yao Lao remarked. The heavenly flames in the top 3 spots of the heavenly flame ranking possessed an extremely destructive force. These 3 types of heavenly flames were extremely rare in the world. Even after tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years, it would be difficult to form another one. It was even rumored that the world did not dare create too many of the top 3 heavenly flames due to them being overly powerful. Only when one of the heavenly flames completely disappeared would a second flame appear after tens of thousands of years. This divine thing was feared by the spirits of the world,